You are now listening to the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast featuring D'Angelo Williams and Gary Barnage. You push play and they'll push the limits.
Hey, it's your boy Tom here, and we are back with another episode of the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast. Ooh, fellas. We have reached an all-time low on the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast audience, because this is what you're about to hear. You are about to hear a show that has no time on it. And do you want to know why that is? It's because these boys were so defeated that the Panthers gave the Saints that smoke, and that Tom was talking all that junk in the group chat, that they decided they wanted to go and do the podcast without Tom behind his back and act like Tom didn't show up to work. Oh my goodness. We have reached an all-time low, but listen, this is what's funny about this. Tom is the one who puts the episodes online. Tom is the one that does the post-production. So what does that mean? That means Tom gets to say his piece anyways. So nice try, fellas, but this ain't going to go through. So stay tuned once the boring part is over, and you will get what I'm going to dub overtime, where Tom's going to come in, say his piece about what the guys talked about, and let them know that they can't just lock Tom out of the show just because the Panthers are going to the Super Bowl. Let's get it.
Well, welcome to the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast. You know, usually Time does this, but he decided to take the day off and just blew us off. So we have to go solo dolo with us too. So I guess it's not really solo, but we're going without our trio. We're going duos today.
Yeah. But who doesn't like double stuffed Oreos, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, like who doesn't like those? So you got us. I mean, hopefully, it's not a problem. I mean, it is for us because, Tom plays an intricate part in our trio.
And he just blew us off today. You know, he had more important things to do. So we're just going to go on without him. The show must go on.
It must go on. I'll do my best time impersonation. So, fellas, what did y'all do this weekend?
So then we'll start with you, D. I'll start with you. Actually, no, I'll start it because, you like to talk. We'll talk.
Yeah.
So this weekend we had our big matchup with St. Augustine.
Look, Gary, I have to admit, bro, I have been waiting for 2 or 3 days for this podcast to happen on this beautiful Monday so I can hear exactly what happened this weekend, because Gary's been flaunting the fact that he's 3-0 in high school football right now, which comes with a $500 price tag on each win as a donation, obviously, to the school, but he has to be over 500. So they're currently 3-0, riding high. Gary, I mean, they've probably got into their groove, but now they got this buzzsaw, which is what the
St. Augustine, correct? They are. They've been good since I was in high school.
Go ahead and say the famous lines of every high school coach that ever play a really good team. They recruit. Go on and say they recruit.
No. St. Augustine doesn't. I will say St. Augustine is the main school in the area over there. And all the kids, they grow up together. They go to this school. There's not like 5 other schools that take from this school. Every kid goes to this school in that area. Like my school, there's like 4 other schools around that kids get fed to. So it's not broken into because the way where St. Augustine is located, they're all together. So they've had the same kids grown up since they were little, always staying together. So that's why they're always good, is what I'm saying. So I will say.
Are you playing them at your house, or so
we're at home. We're at home.
Is it? I'm gonna be pissed off if you don't tell me that this place is packed, because y'all are undefeated. They obviously had a really good game. They were 2-1. I mean, obviously there's a based off of how you sounding, there's a talent level drop off from one team to another, but is everybody there because this is an undefeated season? How many years do y'all go 3-0, Gary?
They haven't been 3-0 since 2010.
Perfect. So everybody should be at this game. Is everybody at this game, Gary?
No, I was actually surprised. We didn't
Are
have as
you
many as I thought we
serious?
would have. Yeah, I thought we would have had more, but it's all right. We don't need them. They don't want to come. That's fine. No big deal. So I will say the first half didn't start off very well. I can say that much. So I'm just going to jump right to halftime. We get to halftime and we are down 38-7.
Okay.
Okay. All
I
right.
mean, that's not 38-7. That's not okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So
7. I don't really at half. Let me
and I
write
know
this
you
down.
always say, what do you do to tell the kids? Well, you have to stay positive. You can't. Obviously, nobody's happy you're down 38-7. You got to tell them they got to come back and fight. They got to at least show if we don't come back and win, because it's obviously it's tough to do that for any team, but you got to at least show you got to fight.
Okay, so hold on before this halftime speech, Gary. You got to give me like the lay of the game. Like, are you guys making mistakes, or are they just marching down the field? Are y'all making mistakes and they just marching down the field?
We're making
scoring?
mistakes, and then we would miss a few tackles, and they'd break a long one for a touchdown, stuff like that. So it wasn't like they were just manhandling us or anything. It was more
But
like
they
we made
were
mistakes.
if they were breaking tackles, Gary. If they were
No, I'm
breaking
saying we just didn't wrap up.
tackles,
We didn't wrap up.
Well, that's the okay. All right, I get what you're saying. I see what you're coaching though. I like where your head is. So
And then-
we're at halftime. We all beat up. Like everybody kind of looking around like, damn, we kind of knew this was gonna happen. And Gary, your speech is
No, so now you just got to say, hey, you got to go out there and show them you got to fight. You can't give in. You can't just roll over because they'll put up 70 on you. You can't do that. You got to keep working and show this doesn't make or break our season, because we can still win out or win more games the rest of the year and still go to the playoffs and then see them again. So like this does not break our season. I think that's what you have to tell them. You have to break it down for them. So with saying that, we come back out in the second half.
hold on before you give us the second half. It sounds like you just gave us at this point, do we believe enough that we could beat this team?
They better.
Okay. All right. So we go in the second half.
So we go into the second half and we score 3 quick touchdowns. So we're down 10 points now.
Hold on. Whoa. Pause. Shit. What? Is this how we start? What was this energy at the start of the game?
This is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like,
okay. So we're 38-7 and a half.
correct.
We score 3 quick ones. So it's 28
38-28.
Right. Wow. What happened? Like, was these like passes? Was these pick sixes?
We got some stops. We got a turnover. And then our running back broke some long runs. So the first half, I think he was 12 for 34. The first half. Okay. And then I'll give you the second half once I finish talking about the second half.
Okay.
So he broke some runs. We made some plays. And things changed, and I think the team started to feeling it more. They started to believe.
Hey, I liked it. Hey, Gary, it sounds like, man, it sounded inspirational right now, Gary. This is legendary podcasting. Go ahead. So we down 38-28.
So yep, and then they take the ball, they score again, so they go up another score.
I'll say they 45-28.
Yep. So then we keep going. We keep fighting. We get in. We score again.
Okay. So it's 35-45.
And then so we keep working, and they score again. And then we score 3. And we end up losing 54-38. We outscored them in the second half. So like we outscored them offensively than they did, obviously. So we played better in the second half. We played more. If we would have played like that in the first half, it would have been a much closer game. And in the second half, our running back had 12 carries for 200 and something yards.
So what was the biggest difference other than the speech that you gave at halftime?
I think
made
it's
them
just,
come out.
I think it was just, I think that's all it was. I think the kids realized, hey, once we got momentum, I think they got down on themselves once they got a quick score or whatever, they got down on them. But once we came out and was able to get a quick score back, get a stop, get another score, I think they started to realize, hey, we have opportunity. And yes, I know there's no moral victories, but we showed a good showing in the second half against a team that's going to be projected to be one of the finalists in the state. So I think that's just a good thing. It's a good thing to build on, and you go into the next week, which we have a bye week. So there will be no game recap next week. So there will be just a bye week, get ready, and for the rest of the season, and like we said, it doesn't make or break the season. We just got to keep going, and we can still do what we got to do.
I gotta ask this: how the players? I mean, how y'all holding up health wise? I mean, obviously y'all had to do probably something different because of the pandemic, or did y'all have to do anything different as far as preparation? And if so, like, how did that affect like your coaching? Because obviously, I mean, y'all 3-1. I mean, y'all playing good football. I mean, you putting up all these points in the second half against a good team. Your team's believing now. So what? I mean, how did you get there?
So yeah, you got obviously there's always injuries, and you have some kids that can't go through it, some that play through, and you just got to try and manage and make sure everybody's ready to go because you never know. Like if somebody gets hurt in a game, somebody could be prepared to step up and go because that's their opportunity, and everybody's just got to be ready. So I think it's just making sure everybody's on the same page and keeping it where it's simple but not outrageous.
That's so crazy, man. That's so crazy. You're a real live high school football coach, bro. Like, is there any politics in high school football?
I would say yes. In general, there is politics all around. Because
you went PC. Boo.
No. I would say yeah, there is because it's just like other schools. Like you coach with other people, you grew up with other people. They might be coaching, so you have that. And it's just like professional. You see a lot of coaches get jobs in the NFL because of who they know. It's not actually what they know football wise. It's who they know. And as long as you can maintain what you got to do and your team wins, it makes you look good too. Like we said this last week, Adam Gase is a prime example. He is a product of being the offensive coordinator when Peyton Manning was the quarterback. You don't do anything at offensive coordinator if Peyton Manning is the quarterback. You're just stand there. Yeah. Like he's not. So he
Thanks
was
for the job, Peyton.
So like it's been proven multiple times. But I think there's politics in sports everywhere, all levels. I even think it's in Pop Warner too.
Okay, all right. I mean, I didn't mean anything.
No, you're good.
Is that all you did this weekend, man?
Well, I also put together the Thanos glove Legos. I know you posted a picture of the ones you and the kids put together, so I put my first one together. I will say it is pretty awesome how intricate they get the colors and everything. It is outrageous.
I love that the fingers move, and like I do different like hand signals with you saw them obviously because I put them in group chat. But what's crazy to me is that, dude, do you remember when Lego sucked? Like
you had to use your own imagination and build something, and you always build a block house, and that's all you ever built.
Dude, can you like think about that, man? Like, what if you were old enough to experience like when Legos first came out, and that's what you was. Like, that's your litmus test. Like, man, you remember we used to build the hell out of some houses. Like, but they was all
everything everybody built. Unless you're one of these Lego masters, everybody built a freaking house or a garage, or they try to make a little car because they had the ones with wheels. That was it. Nobody built anything ever. Nobody I ever knew built anything different because your imagination as a kid wasn't going crazy like that. You were just building whatever.
Yeah,
you're just putting things together too.
Absolutely. To where we are right now and the bus that we have. What's crazy, how long did it take you, Gary?
So it took me about 2.5 hours.
Okay. So me and my wife had a conversation about this. And it makes sense, but it makes no sense. She asked me, she said, why are you gluing the Legos together? And I said, I'm gluing them together so we don't lose the Lego. She was like, well, you don't have to glue it. You could put it somewhere and we still won't lose the Lego. And I was like, you don't understand. Like, accidents happen. And because accidents happen, this glue is my insurance.
So did you glue every piece or what did you glue?
I glue every piece, bro.
Oh, that took a long time then.
That's why. That's
because I'm not gluing mine because I know where mine's going. So it is Now, if it falls and breaks, I'm gonna throw something because there's no way I'll be able to put it back together.
No way. I keep the books. I always keep the books.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, gluing it's got to take you all day to glue it because you're gluing your
Bro.
piece.
And it was super glue too,
And
brother.
you can't screw up.
Nah, super glue too, brother. Super glue. It was a lot of checking to make sure it was the right piece. Oh yeah, you. There's no mistakes because
I
you
will
can't pull it
say
off.
my fingers, they were cramping so much because the little bitty pieces you got to move. My
Yeah.
fingers aren't made for that little bitty pieces and putting and stuff. And then I mess up a few times. I'm trying to peel the thing off and get it back off. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. So I have more to build.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to building those. I think it's a good time. I'm actually probably going to get into a little more Lego stuff. Just because I think they got some cool sets you can build too.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, and I'm coming out because is that all you did this weekend?
Yeah, that was my weekend.
Oh, okay. I wanted to come out and I want to say this, Gary, and I don't know, but I'm kind of jealous of kids, not just my kids, just kids just in general. And here's why I'm jealous of kids just in general. Just like you said, this Lego sets. When we were growing up, man, we had Light Brights and we had Etch a Sketch and all that stuff, and we just like, man, we were the king of the crop. Man, look at the stuff that they have these days now, bro. Like, just imagine if we were younger and we had Facebook and TikTok and all this social media stuff and having all these avenues to either create income or get you an audience or just do the stuff that we've done. Like, just think if we'd had it and it was this big, Gary, when we were playing, we were in college.
Well, just think about if you had NIL when you were in college, you could get paid.
But it's crazy though, because I mean, you look at this stuff and you go, man, you guys got it better than we did. And they just like, man, you don't understand. And because we went through what we went through and they're going through what they're going through and their struggle is a little bit less, we just like, man, but it's still way better than we ever had. So I was looking at my kids, man, and they was like, they was playing Nintendo Switches, and I'm just like, man, I had a Game Boy.
Yeah, that's a giant Game Boy.
Bro, I had a Game Boy, bro. And you could hook this damn thing up to the TV. You could play, like, it got great graphics. Bro, we had a Game Boy. Think about that.
We had Pong. I know Pong was right before us, but we still had Pong. I played Pong. Literally just watching a ball go back and forth.
Man, and everything on the internet, and it's so much better on the internet. I
know you remember AOL having to wait for it to connect. You can't make a phone call.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, my kids, they do it all the time. Every time they see a VCR tape, they just like, Daddy, what is that? What did y'all use that for? I was like, see, y'all and then just here recently, this is recently, Gary, all these streaming services that are popping up. It was Netflix is like Netflix, and then everybody was like, oh, let me copy that business model, and then boom, you just like, damn.
See, I will say some of the stuff took away responsibility of kids. Like if you think about Blockbuster and stuff like that with VHS, you were talking about, you had to rewind it or you got a penalty. Like you had to pay a little fine or whatever at Blockbuster. So kids were forced to remember to rewind, because if you don't, the parents you're gonna get in trouble.
I forgot about
so
that.
That actually teaches the kid to do something that they're supposed to do. Like it keeps them where they gotta be ready at all times. And that's the thing. I can't think of the word. What is responsibility? He teaches them responsibility. They got to rewind after they watch a movie. Now they don't have to worry about it. They all they have to do is turn the TV off and they're good to go.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you something. Now that you say that, and then I'm gonna get back to my weekend and finish this. But as you say this, I'm gonna bird walk a little bit. Think about the dumb shit that we went through and that we paid for that made no sense. Like we got penalized for not rewinding the tape. We got penalized for peak and off-peak minutes. Look at where we are right now, bro. And we look back, it was like, that was the dumbest shit ever. Like, where did that go?
Same with text messaging, having to pay the text message, because when it first came out, you had to pay.
Like, where did all that go? Are we not still doing the same thing? And now they wrapping it in a bundle, and like, it's because everybody got it, but it's crazy just thinking about the dumb shit that we had to pay for to where now we don't even have to leave a house to get a movie. We don't have to, as long as you got the internet, you could be anywhere in the world.
That's true.
And
Love it though.
that's
It's a
one
great
of the-
thing to have for us now.
Yeah.
But for kids, it makes things a little easier for them, which that's why they say it like kids aren't having to learn as much because everything's given to them on thing. They're not wanting to learn. There's so much stuff to distract them. They're not wanting to play outside as often because there's so many other things that can take their attention away that they're not playing outside. They're not doing stuff that we did when we grew up.
Now I'm Gary. Now here's my thing. Now and this is me being honest with you. I have no problem with my kids not going outside. It's 2021.
No, I agree.
If they don't want to go outside and they feel like the house is cool and I just want to stay in here, like it's a lot of parents that get upset that their kids don't go outside. Like they ain't do like we used to do. Hell, we ain't had nothing to do inside. We didn't have nothing to do inside. We didn't have all these video games. We didn't have all this cool stuff. So if I'd have had all this cool stuff, hell, I wouldn't have took my ass outside. I'm just telling y'all to chill on these kids talking about, man, all they want to do is stay in the house and play the game. You're mad because when you were a kid that you didn't have that game option. You had to go outside. I stayed outside for 22 hours of the day. Yeah, because then nobody wanted to deal with you. You were a bad kid, okay? You were a bad kid.
So what did you do this weekend? So now that we went on that whole tangent of Legos,
Okay,
and growing up stuff.
Yeah. So obviously I told you like the kids having stuff. I was kind of got a little jealous of them because they got cool stuff. And then you're gonna really like this one. So you do realize that my Memphis Tigers won this weekend, and I am watching
who's
this
Memphis?
game. Hold on.
Oh.
My Memphis Tigers played this weekend. Saturday, we won. We beat Mississippi State. 30. I think it was 31-29. But it was some things that happened in that game that had a lot of people puzzled. I don't know if you've seen it.
The punt?
But the punt or the kick or whatever. I want to ask you your thoughts, but I just want to let you know mine as we was going through it. When the game first came on and we were getting like, we didn't run that many plays, dude. And we started out just very similar to your high school football team. I'm yelling at the TV. I'm like, stupid. I can't believe it. Like, I come inside and tried to watch it, and my wife was like, hey, just go on back outside and watch it back out there. I was like, you ain't never encouraged me to go outside. Like, okay, all right, I must be too loud. I get it. I'm going to go out here. Dude, I yelled and I screamed at the TV. My wife got in the shower, and we started scoring points. I was like, go get back in the shower. Go back. I think that was working. That's working. Like, let's just stay there. We end up coming back and we end up winning it. The question is, and it's not necessarily a question. I'm not out there as a fan calling these plays. I understand that the refs have got us. The refs gonna get y'all. I get it. That's part of the game. But you can't get mad at me and call off a bet because we won. I don't care if you bet with somebody and they say we won. I don't care what happened within the game. Like, you knew that. I know it. I know they shouldn't have returned that, but that counted. So therefore, I won.
That is true. You are the winner. That would be if you had made a bet, you did win the bet.
So with that being said, the question I'm asking you is in that situation, obviously the ref made a bad call, afterthought, but what do you think was going through the ref's mind? Just curious, because I got my own assumption.
So a lot of people don't know the rule, obviously, because everybody was in uproar over it. But if the punting team touches the ball and doesn't pick it up, the returning team can pick it up with no fault. Nothing bad can happen. They can fumble and lose the ball back. They still get the ball because it was touched first by the punting team. So it was a smart play by the Memphis guy once he saw that they weren't picking it up.
Calvin Austin III.
Yeah. But I will say the referee was 100% wrong. You don't run in and wave your hands like the play's over when it's not over. I think the thing is he saw the guy from Mississippi State on his knee with his hand on the ball, which is basically giving the ball up, like he's down, like it's down, plays over, and he goes in to wave his hands. If you do that, to the Mississippi State guys, that's a universal signal because obviously we can't hear the whistle stuff. That's a universal signal, plays over. But then as soon as he sees the Memphis guy pick it up, he decides to get out of the way. So I think what was going through his head was 99% of the time, nothing happens. Once somebody touches the ball for the punting team, the return team usually gets away and leaves it alone. So this never really happens. It's a very rare occurrence that this happens, which I feel like it should happen more often with how often teams are trying to touch the ball and stop it early. If they don't pick it up, I think more returners should pick it up and go. There's no fault that can happen. But I do think the referee was wrong by waving his arms. Obviously, I didn't. You can't hear a whistle on the game copy, so I don't know if a whistle was blown. If he blew a whistle too, then that's even worse. But I definitely think he should be reprimanded, and the crew could have fixed it if once they saw it, because they converse and try to fix everything else, which we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. So I feel like they could have, but it was a smart play by Memphis. I think they did a great job. It worked. But I definitely think the referee was wrong by waving his hands because that is the universal signal for plays over. You don't do that if the play's not over. The ref never does that. Never in life of anything. But again, that's a smart play. The ref just screwed it up, and as big as the Memphis for doing it. I had nothing wrong with it.
Man, I'm just Calvin Austin. Hey, if you listen to the podcast, man, shout out to you and your awareness, man. Your awareness was on 1,000 at that particular time. With that being said, Gary, and I don't know if this is what you wanted to talk about, but it was one particular game that I was watching, and I can't remember what game it was, but they reviewed. Oh, it was our game. I think it was our game. It was 100% our game. I'm watching our game, and they go in and they review the onside kick. Mississippi State had recovered the onside kick, so they was going in to see if he was. They said that the ball rolled too short. Right. This is what I thought was very interesting. The ball rolled too short. Well, with looking at the onside kick, the ball didn't roll too short. It actually rolled 10 yards, and the guy fell on it. So the recovery was good, but within the film there was a legal block. So the guy blocked before the guy was able to touch the ball. So that in turn was an infraction. So with that being said, he called the infraction that was completely different. He was like, hey, you guys recovered. However, before that, it was an infraction on the defense, so they had to re-kick it.
Which is the right call.
It's the right call, but how often do you hear about, because you going in to see whether or not he recovered it or not. You're not going to look for other infractions. That's just like saying the guy picked the ball on the other side, and you see within them picking it on the other side, the other guy being held.
Yeah, I didn't think that was legal, but I don't obviously know enough.
You see what I'm saying?
I don't think it's legal for you to go in and find a penalty on something else. But if it's the guy that's supposed to be covering the ball and he gets hit instead of getting on the ball and the other guy gets it and it's clear as day, I can see that being a penalty gets called. But I didn't think they were allowed to add a penalty on and that, like, in a review. I didn't think that was legal. But again, I don't know all the little rules. Some of the rules in college are just ridiculous. Same with some of the stuff in the NFL. And that's what brings me to are you finished with your weekend? Because that's what I was going to transition right into what I want to talk about.
Go ahead. I went on a bike ride. I got a new bike, but we ain't got to talk about that. But go ahead.
We'll go back to it since we're still talking about the rules and stuff. I would love to hear your opinion as a running back, because obviously you're offense, I'm offense, but I side with the defense on this. I think the targeting and the helmet to the head stuff is so outlandish and outrageous. Nobody should be ejected for something like that unless you can truly say there was intent, and sometimes there is, but there's so many times they call targeting that is because the offensive player lowers his helmet trying to truck the defensive guy, and the guy's trying to make a tackle, and if you lower your body as an offensive guy and your helmet gets hit, it should not be targeting. It just shouldn't be. Like, you're trying to make a tackle as a defensive. I think that's such a bogus call. I don't think players should get ejected from a college game because it's so subjective, and they go review it, but half the time the people looking at it again have never played before. They don't know why this happens. They just assume, oh, he's trying to hurt the guy. 99% of the time, nobody's trying to hurt anybody out there. They're just trying to make a play, and you're making it so much harder for the defense, which I understand because offense sells, offense brings in points and excitement, so I can understand that aspect. But they say it's all about safety, but I don't think it is about safety because it's not. If it was safety, you would say you can't lower your head and truck somebody as a running back, but you can't say that because they got to protect themselves. Defense guys trying to protect themselves. They supposed to just take a hit and get ran over. Like, I just don't understand it personally.
Well, what if I told you that if you saw what you hit, you'd never go helmet to helmet?
No, they do.
What if
because
I told you that?
if your helmet hits the side of their helmet, it's still called.
If you could see what you're hitting, you wouldn't ever hit there because that's not where you're trying to go.
So I'll give you an example. I'll give you one. They had one in the game. A receiver jumps up, catches the ball. Well, DB's just trying to hit him in the stomach to hit the ball, right? So
Yeah.
he lowers his shoulder into the midsection. Well, the guy's coming down, and when he comes down, he ends up catching him in the head, but he's aiming at the stomach to start. But because of gravity, he gets hit in the head, but it's a targeting now. And it was a shoulder to the head, not a helmet that time. And it was still targeting.
I'm not saying I don't agree with you. I'm saying that I'm trying to come up with a way to fight what it is that you're saying, like on why you don't understand. So the only way I can fight that is by saying if you see what you hit, then you'll never go helmet to helmet. But that also works for the offense too. Like, the offense can't just drop their heads because running backs, they do it all the time. That's our form of getting low. So sometimes our eyes will drop lower than they should be. That in turn dropping our head. And I get that. But rolling your shoulders and keeping your head up is probably the hardest thing that you can do in any position. Tight end, quarterback. Like, because you don't know how low or how high is head length where you get your head taken off. And then that in turn get the targeting call. You don't get that in the NFL. You don't get that at all. That helmet to helmet is subjective depending on how egregious the hit is.
Well, yeah, and like they had last week in the Packers game, which I don't want to mention, but last week in the Packers game, Zadarius Smith, he had a clean sack on the side of the guy. No, didn't land on top of him. No helmet hit. But because it looked like he hit him too hard, they called it roughing the passer. And it was like perfect hit. And it's not reviewable. I just feel like those type of things should be reviewable. A helmet to helmet, a roughing the passer, all that should be reviewable. Or you don't have to like take a timeout, but you should have somebody's job up top is to review this. And if it's not, there's no flag on the play. Because you have time by the time they get together and make the call, somebody could already rewatch it and see if there is. And it would literally not slow the game down at all. I just feel like there's so many times games get screwed up because of that. It doesn't make sense. They made a big deal about the pass interference from a while back for the Saints, and then now they had somebody reviewing pass interference last year. So why can't they do it about these type of things that can cost games? It just doesn't make sense.
Well, I told you the NFL has always been a reactive league. They've never been proactive. And I mean, I don't know how the videos are going with the pass interference versus not a pass interference because it's kind of subjective to the ref. I mean, in my opinion, I feel like it's a pass interference every time the ball is thrown on some receiver on the football field. So it's crazy. And I totally get what you're saying. It makes no sense to me either.
I also have another question. Did you see the Giants-Redskins game?
No, I didn't. What happened?
The whole hoopla of the D lineman jumping off sides.
Oh
the
no,
field
I
goal they
did.
missed.
I did see that.
So
I wanted to talk about that.
yeah, so I watched the film multiple times. Obviously, this isn't reviewable, so I can understand how the referee calls this offsides. But again, something like a game-winning kick, I feel like that can be reviewable and make it, because that's the thing is like it doesn't, everyone doesn't have to be reviewable. But if it determines a game, like if the last second field goal and you have to see if he jumped off sides, to me that should be easy to be reviewable. But again, like you said, they're reactive. If you watch the tape and you watch it in slow motion, he timed it as soon as the snapper moved, he moved. Like it literally was instantaneous. So it looks offsides in real time because he's so much faster than everybody else. But if you watch like a camera, like they're supposed to do when they review things, he was perfectly not offsides. And
Okay.
that cost them the game. That cost the Giants the game because the kicker missed the field goal and got to redo it. A
Yeah,
la
I
that's
saw
what
that.
happened to Louisville when I played.
Okay, so obviously, there's some history there. We
Yeah.
get it. We get it. I mean, you might be a little biased. I it's so I was trying to figure it out. This is how I end up seeing that play because he was trending, and a couple of newscasters or people were saying that who said that one player can't lose a game for you. And I was thinking, I was like, damn, like for real, like y'all really putting this whole game on this man right here because of a moment, and it just I was like, damn, looked at the play and did the same thing that you did. But again, that was a ref that missed it because in real time, it looked like he jumped off sides. In
Correct.
slow motion, you was like, damn, he was a millimeter off on the snap. He could have been called off sides. But what do you do? I mean, you can't challenge penalties, right?
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Like if it comes down to something like that, you can literally have somebody. Their job is to look this over, especially if it's a game-winning thing, and make the call and let everybody know. You don't have to like stop the game. There's somebody else that can be. That's their whole job is to make sure these things aren't wrong, because that's what they're talking about. They want it. They want it to be the best, but they don't want everyone to fix it when there's bad calls ever.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's it's from college and it's pro, and they allow it, so it's going to continue. And that's why you always hear people complaining about refs because they never do anything to fix any of it. Obviously, you can't fix everything, but it's the same thing with baseball with the strike zone. Everybody has issues with umpire strike zones, but I don't really know what you can do with that unless you go automated. But then what? That's really hard to do all that because you can't have automated, and then you have to have somebody else still there for if somebody got tagged out at home or something.
Oh, you just went on a tangent just then,
Oh,
man. You cool?
it's just all in general. Yeah, we're good.
Oh man.
Oh, in case y'all were wondering, yeah, time still has not shown up yet. Still has blown us off again. So this is like the 14th time he's done this to us. Typical time on his own time.
It's all right. So Gary, I finished watching this football game, man. I'm like all juiced up and stuff like that. And I go, man.
Oh, you're talking about your Memphis game. Sorry.
Yeah. My Memphis game, because that happened on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I don't know if you caught up. Are you caught up on The Walking Dead?
I am not. I'm
Okay,
really far behind.
so the weekend has gotten big for us from a standpoint of we will watch some college football on Saturday. We'll watch a bunch of NFL games on Sunday, and we get ready for The Walking Dead, bro. We get ready for The Walking Dead. Well, it was funny because I don't want to give it away. I'm not even gonna go down there because I'd give it away because the conversation broke out about that. So I'm gonna stop that. But yeah, we watched The Walking Dead, and then got up this morning and couldn't wait to have this conversation with you about your Friday night game. But
So let's talk about your bike. So you ended up buying a new bike.
okay, so I didn't buy like a new bike. Okay?
So not the bike you test rode.
Not the bike I test rode. So I'm testing a bike today, which is the Pillarino Prince. Not really sure if it's a good or a bad bike. I'm testing it today, and it'll be one of the fast rides, so I'll get a chance to really hammer it. So it'll give me a good feel and tell me like, hey, if I want this bike or I don't want it. So I also I was trying to stay away from this, but since you're gonna walk me down this path,
Yep.
we're gonna go down this path, okay? I played in a kickball game this weekend.
Oh,
Me,
okay.
my wife, and with some of my friends from my cycling community, right? And do you really want to? Do you want me to tell you about what happened in this kickball game? And all you got to do is win 8 games to win it all. Double elimination. Okay. Chris, one of my boys called me and he was like, "Hey man, I need you to play on the team." And I'm like, "Man, I got you. You know, it's for a great cause, great foundation." And I'm like, "Oh man, I'm in there. Lock me in." I asked the wife, I said, "Honey, you know who we're gonna be playing with?" And she was like, "Nah, I don't know. But it's gonna have to be a good crew because, you know, the guy who invited us, a very young, healthy guy, and we just assuming like, hey man, we're gonna show up and we finna be balling because we all athletes." Bro, I show up, and when I show up for the kickball game, our team is warming up. And I realized then I'm the youngest one on the team. The youngest one on the team, bro. We had one hamstring pull in warm-ups. Like he was getting ready to go jog and he pulled a hamstring. And so he was out for the game. So now we down to 13. Like
So
we gotta
so
have
your star player out for the game.
no, he wasn't our star player. So I want you, we'll allow 10 on the field at a time. You got to have 10 on there. We had 14. We had one go down in warm-ups. So, you know, he over there cheering us on. I'm like, man,
What position did you play?
this is rough. I played outside of a third. I played like
Short outfield.
yeah, kind of short outfield. It depends on, you know, coming up making those plays. I mean, I did pretty good considering. But anyway, so yeah, so we lose one in warm-ups, and I'm like, okay, we can overcome. We win the first game, bro, and I'm like, oh, that's what I'm talking about. But within winning that first game, we lose another guy. He was our pitcher. He go down. He pulled his quad, and I'm like, dang man, you all right? He's like, yeah, Now we down to 12. We just down to 12, right? Win the first game. We go into the second game, new pitcher. Okay. We got a new pitcher. And she come out, she pitches the ball, does great. We lose 1-0. We win the first game 1-0. We win the second, we lose the second game 0-1. So we're going into our third game, double elimination. Bro, we're going to this third game and everybody like it's 12 of us now, right? We get into this game and like our star player, seriously, he pulls his quad. And I'm like, damn. Now we're down to 11, bro. It's getting serious because now there's no subs. Now you playing full games. It's only 5 innings though, but they're going by fast. Man, we get into this third game, bro, and we played 14 innings because it was a tie going into each one. Man, we went into our fourth game, and this is when I knew we were in trouble.
So you won your third game.
We won our third game. 2-1 right now. 2-1. I told the wife, I said, we was juiced up. I'm talking about it was people sliding. Like it was one run where we had a lady fall, get back up and like finish. But in her mind, she had failed before she had failed. But then when she found out like, oh, I probably should stop fighting this, you could see it on her face. Gave it to us. She fell, got back up and scored. This game was like intense. We got 6 runs in maybe the 14th, like, cause it was a very long kickball game. So we get that done. And I tell them, I said, during the game, I said, whichever one of these teams win, they're not going to make it. They're not going to win the next game. Man, we go into this next game. This is how I know we was going to lose this game. They was passing out ibuprofen. Like everybody was passing out ibuprofen. And the lady at the door was saying, she said, hey, max 4. And everybody was taking ibuprofen, dude. And I said, look at us. Look around.
Did you take any?
No, I didn't take any. But I'm over here. I'm trying to gas them up like, hey, you know, we got this. But we had burned all our matches in the last game because it had everything you needed. It had the excitement. It had the, hey, you can't make mistakes. We were making mistakes, but we were overcoming them and we were scoring points. And it was like, yeah, man, we just finally, I was like, if we just peak right there, it's going to be bad from here on out. Because even our peak wasn't like, but we spent everything. Man, we got out there and got our ass kicked in the fourth game, bro. I was so happy. Everybody was talking about they were sore, man. I was calling people today, and they was talking about how sore they was. My wife was on the game ready, her ankle. I was on there with my knee. I was like, damn, I didn't even know I did something to my knee. But when you're playing, you have so much adrenaline, you know what I'm saying? And then when you come back, you just realize, and I said, man, I'm at that age now. I'm at that age.
Did anybody go undefeated?
So there was a team, a police team that was there that were undefeated, but you would have had to beat them twice. Bro, 8 games. 8 games. I was like, I don't know how y'all, like, why is there so many games? In one day, everybody playing the same amount. If you make it, you make it to the championship, you got to win 8 games.
So you're doing it again next year?
I said that I was going back, man, because it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and it was for a great cause, man. And I don't know. I couldn't commit because, I mean, it was hot, bro. It was hot. It was hot. I'm really not like a great kickball kicker. I mean, like a kickball athlete. And they said that they had to put on there and specify no professional kickball teams. And I was like, what? They was like, yeah, there's professional kickball teams. That I was like, now, like, who's sponsoring them? Like, what's like, what?
I think there's professional everything. Like, I didn't know there's professional paintball leagues and all that kind of stuff, but there's everything. They got professional something. They got professional frisbee, ultimate frisbee teams. So
that's crazy, bro. That's absolutely crazy. But yeah, that rounds out my weekend. I was trying to hold back on that. But yeah, as a result of that, man, I just kind of just been waiting on getting on this bike again. Can't wait to try
when's
it
the
out.
next? When I know you said that Reese is going to do the 100 mile. Y'all doing the 100 mile thing, right?
Yeah.
When does that take place?
No, she did 100 miles. It's 4 days.
No. When are y'all doing the long one to Washington?
4 days, 500 miles.
So when is that?
In May. It's in May.
Ooh.
It is in May. Yeah, so she got time.
You got time to get ready for it.
Yes. 4 days, 500 miles, and she'll get a new bike before she does it. So that's the good part.
So how often are y'all training for that, I guess? How often are y'all riding for that, I guess?
Well, so we'll go out and we'll train. Well, I can go every day if I wanted to, but she just like, nah, she don't. I mean, her thing is she just got to get more saddle time, and she'll be fine. But she trains Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Like those are her days, and she'll do between 20, 30, or whatever it takes to get her to 100. And that was her first time hitting 100. So we making strides. We getting there. There.
Will y'all ever ramp up to like a 200 miles in a week to prepare yourself just for 404 days?
So I heard a lady, she told me that she had never rode more than 55 miles. And she did the bike to DC. She did the 4 days, 500 miles. She said the worst thing about being on that bike for that long in the saddle is your butt goes numb. I was like, man, I can see that. Yeah. I can see that. But, stopping and getting the right nutrition and stuff like that, it'll work. And it's a great ride.
On that, how long were the stretches of rides?
So it's a ride to honor, and it's for police officers, fallen police officers. So what you do is you go from one police precinct that lost an officer to the next one, but that may be in the next county, that may be in the next state, but you go from there and you go, and maybe it's every 60 miles or every 50 miles. You'll have lunch, you'll have dinner, and you'll get to the hotel. You ride your bike to the hotel. That's where you stay in there for the night. They have a car, bring all your stuff, so you'll have all your stuff. You check into the hotel, they let you know, hey, we leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning, and that's when we leaving. At 6 o'clock, everybody take off from that hotel. You put your stuff in the van, and you on the bike until you get to the next, which may be the next police station that lost us. And you keep that same process for the 4 days.
So how do you get home? Are you flying home with your bike, or how does that process
No.
go?
They put you on that van that's lugging your stuff with your bike, and then they drive you back to the house.
Ooh, that's terrible.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
probably the worst part.
Oh, that's what everybody said, is the drive back, because you don't want to sit after you've been sitting for that long. You'd rather them like, hey, let's just stay at the hotel tonight and we leave in the morning. No, everybody come in, and then when everybody come in, you get on the vans and they take you back.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, but it's a fun ride, man, because not a lot of people can say that they bike 500 miles in 4 days.
That's an impressive feat. I'm interested to see y'all doing it. I think you should do something where you document each day. Like maybe you go live while you're doing it, or something where you document each day of this trip. I think it'd be a good thing for people to see. And I think it's for a good cause, so why not? I know they might make fun of you for the way you're hurting, but
I was just gonna say
you'd be good.
You really want that? Yeah, man. I did the 85 miles this year, and one of the homies was like, man, come out and do it, and I did it, and I loved everything about it, man. Just the police escort, because it's the fall, and you get the police escort almost all the way to DC. It's like just the everything that's surrounding it, like hearing the family stories and how they've progressed since they lost their son or their daughter, and what they were doing when it happened. It's just, and you hear all these stories along this journey, and you're just like, man, it's incredible just hearing people about, and everybody's cyclists. Nobody cares that you're a celebrity or that you play football or not. It's just everybody coming together for this bike ride, because it costs you to do this bike ride, so you're technically donating, so everybody wins.
So I definitely think you should use the production company Mislabeled Wonderland. I think they could film a good little documentary type thing of you doing this. I think it'd just be a good video to have too, because I think it's, like you said, it's 4 days, 500 miles. You get great stories. I think it's something that could be a good thing, and you shed light on this whole issue. And I think it'd be a good little video.
Okay, I see what you're doing here. Yeah,
why not? Right?
I might. We'll see. We'll see. I just don't want y'all to make fun of me in the Hurt Locker, because I know. But again, 100%.
I don't think they can, because you're doing it for a good cause. They're not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what people think. I have to put a poll or something up and see. Gary, when are you gonna do anything with yourself, man? Like, you literally, you were that kid. That's why I said that. Like, it's
I'm
okay.
Going to Blockbuster. Just leave me alone.
No, you're not going to Blockbuster, because they're currently not open. But what I'm saying is like, you're one of those kids that I was talking about that just don't leave the house. Like, you don't want to go outside. You don't want to go outside and play. You okay with being in the house all day. I'm saying, when are you gonna get your shit together and go get you a workout in
next week when Cinnamon vs. Sugar takes off?
Oh, you want that smoke?
Yeah, you know it.
See, you know what? Yeah. All right, I see what you're doing here.
Yeah, you know it.
Yep. I guess we could. I mean, you want to end it right there?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think everybody's good. A little shorter than normal, but hey, we'll be back next week with another one. Always here. So
look at Gary. Yeah, that was horrible. That was terrible, the way you just like, come on, man, give us a little bit more than that.
Thank y'all for joining us. This was a fun time, and hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. How's that one?
And we out.
Dear God, I am probably talking to nobody right now, because there is no way you survived through that podcast. Oh my gosh. No, I got jokes. I'm just kidding. Good job, fellas. But you know what? We are headed to overtime. Listen, guys, I can't believe, Gary, you had a perfect opportunity to call D'Angelo out on his Steelers losing to the Las Vegas Raiders, but you didn't do it. You want to know why you didn't do it? Because your team, the Packers, are looking like trash so far too. We'll find out later tonight if they are actually as trash as they looked last week. But you know who made them look like trash last week? The New Orleans Saints. And you know who made the New Orleans Saints look like trash this week? Them Carolina Panthers, boys. And that's exactly why you tried to lock time out of this podcast, because you knew I was going to get on both of your asses about your teams. Your picks are bet. My money is looking good right now. I wanted to address one thing that I heard the guys talk about, because D'Angelo brought up how he's so jealous of kids these days because of all the things that they have growing up. That's debatable, because I think there's a lot to be said for being raised, going outside, having to interact with people. Because I'm not going to lie, I like do teen night shows and stuff where I go interact with these kids, young people, and people I'll see on Instagram that are like Insta famous and they're teenagers. When you meet them in person, they have zero personality because they don't know how to interact with people. They don't know how to go have fun. They live their lives through their telephones and through their social medias and their TikToks. They know how to make a quick 15-second, 20-second video where they look like they're going off, but then when you try to interact with them in person, they look like they don't know how to talk to people. They don't look like they know how to have an imagination anymore. But I'll tell you this is who I'm jealous of. I am jealous of our parents, because this is what I'm saying. If you're raising a kid in today's world, you have got it 100 times worse. And it's just true. It's just true, because all the kids want to do today is stay locked into a screen. So you can't send them to go outside to play with their friends. That they're going to be in the house running up your data plans, spending hundreds of dollars on you got damn Fortnite and all this crap. But not only that, back in the day, if I wanted to log into the internet and see a pair of titties, because you know what, I'm a growing young man, I had to log into AOL, get the internet running, pull up LimeWire. If I'm trying to download a video or some rap music to listen to, some dirty lyrics that I want to listen to, because I'm not supposed to listen to rap, but I'm gonna listen to rap. I had to find a clip that's probably gonna give my computer a virus. That's going to take 30 minutes to an hour to download, and then it might not even be the right thing that I was trying to download, because it could probably just be somebody trying to attack. Today's world, everyone has at their fingertips endless amounts of titties. Let's just call it what it is. Endless amounts of titties, to where you ain't got to download. You ain't got to go up to the TV screen where you got the fake channels where you used to have HBO, and about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night they would have those like adult shows that would come on where every now and then the black and white fizz would hit just right to where you can see a nipple, and you like, ooh, I'm living right out here. I just seen a nipple on HBO. Ooh, no, it's at their fingertips. Our parents had it easy. It's going to be so hard to raise children in this world because of that. Not only that, it's all over Instagram. You got Insta Thoughts, and you got people striving to be Insta Thoughts, like celebrity social media people. Like, I just can't fathom what it's going to be like to parent people that grow up in this generation with all the access to information and stuff they have at their fingertips. So that's who I'm jealous of. I am jealous of our parents and the fact that we didn't have this ish growing up. We had Legos that you had to build your own houses, like the boys talk about. That's what we had. Lincoln Logs out here. We had Frogger out this thing. We had Halo parties back in the day, because we get to go out there, link up and nerds play around Halo parties. And today it's like you got people I don't want to get there, but you know what I'm talking about. Lord have mercy. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you coming to Overtime, and I appreciate you letting me talk to you about them Carolina Panthers. We out.
You are now listening to the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast, featuring D'Angelo Williams and Gary Barnage. You are now listening to the Cinnamon and Sugar Podcast, featuring D'Angelo Williams and Gary Barnage. You are now listening to